Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Thanks for coming back to the Leon the Great podcast. Or if you are brand new to the podcast, thank you so much for stopping by, taking a listen. Man, before I continue on my podcast for today's episode, and today's episode is going to be talking about Signal. Signal is a messenger I use, private messenger. Is something that anyone should consider if you are looking into making a switch from, let's say, messengers like WhatsApp. And in my episode, I'll be explaining to you the fundamental difference between Signal and other encryptions like WhatsApp. And this is going to be a very important episode if you're looking into doing something different as far as looking into making a move into making your messages secure. And this is something I will be talking about today. And this is very appropriate since now I'm going to be talking about privacy and private messages on today's episode. I want to just go ahead and bring a few words of our sponsors. And one of the first things I want to just bring up on my sponsor is Brave. Now, Brave is a browser I've been using for many months, and I think Brave is one of the best, if not one of the good browsers out there too. And so far, they're always improving. They're a lot, and they're always listening to the community over on the community forums at community.brave.com. It works excellent, and there's actually right now Tor features now. So if you are looking into securing yourself privately, it's one of the best ways to secure yourself. In fact, and there's always another alternative from Chrome. And this is one of the main reasons I left major browsers such as Mozilla and Google's Chromium browser, Chrome, which this does an excellent job, and you can surf really quickly without the disruptive ads with a lot of websites, which has a lot of Google embedded things right from the background of JavaScript, and also there's a lot of things you can do to protect yourself too. And then with the incentives, you can go ahead and earn BAT, which is a altcoin crypto. So if you're looking into getting into crypto, BAT is an easy way to do it. It's the way it works is that you earn things while you're surfing, and pretty much it all comes down to your attention, and it works great too if you're into cryptos just like I am into. So go ahead and check out Brave. And one of my newest sponsor is ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is one of the best VPN services out there. I've tried it. It works great. And just recently I went ahead and became an affiliate because it has a lot of things that you can do with ExpressVPN. You can use ExpressVPN through your router or your Android phone, and it's available for iOS and everywhere else wherever you're doing your internet browsing. And this is one of the best VPN services out there. Don't just take it from me. A lot of people have used it, and it's worked great. And this is something that you cannot go out with things that's been going on with people collecting data and using data for not so good reasons. Now with ExpressVPN too, and if you are a listener, a pretty much a frequent listener, you know that I talk about privacy a lot on my channel, and something it is very important for everyone to get right into it too and secure yourself with all the data mining that's going on right now. And if you sign up for the 3 months free service using the link down below, and also you're helping me as a content creator, you are also helping yourself when surfing around the internet too. Trust me, it is one of the best VPNs out there, and don't just take my word for it. And everyone's using it. it is a great service to have whenever you're not just at home, but outside as well. Now, with that said, on for today's sponsors, let's get right onto today's topic on Signal Messenger. Hello, everyone. So, Leon back here with today's episode. Now, I wanted to go ahead and talk about Signal Messenger. Now, Signal Private Messenger, for all of you that don't know what Signal is, I'm going to be getting on to today's episode with Signal and what it is about, why it is good in some aspects, I'd say. And before I get onto today's topic, onto the two articles that I'm going to be reading upon on, and I think the one of the things I would say with Signal, it's going to be good for anyone that is going to consider leaving WhatsApp for good, getting rid of it too. And before I continue on, now this came to my radar about a week ago from the channel called The Hated One. I watch his channel a lot because he talks about almost what I'm talking about, which is very much about internet privacy. And one of the things that the messengers, especially like Facebook's WhatsApp, which you and I would already know that this is already as dangerous, having to go and have a conversation going through WhatsApp, in the concerns of how much of the data that's going to be these companies are already in, I should say, are already mining so much of it right now. It's very important to find out what we can do to protect ourselves. Now, I know many of the things I've read in true comments, things like that, said that many people said that Signal, it's not as good, and this is something to stay away and consider looking into something else like Sessions Messenger. And though that's a good step, I think it's great. And to me, honestly, though, I've used Signal for many years. I think going back since 2015, and I first heard about it coming from Edward Snowden. Even he mentioned that he's used Signal. Signal is just like one of those ways that if you're someone that knows how to protect themselves, to the advanced ways, like PGB or anything like that too, it's a good move to go through Signal and do that right there too. Now, I did question Signal for some time now, as someone that I have used Signal, and I didn't think it was going to be like very, very protected, honestly, but Signal does a really good job. For personally, I know there's other messengers out there too, but today I'm not going to go into other messengers because that's just way too much of a conversation, having to go into good links involved. And to me, I love to talk about Session. Session will be a good idea to talk about, or even other ones, or other IRC messengers or chat rooms that you can use for alternatives. But today it's going to be about Signal. So I will go ahead and consistently stay on topic to today's point, because I want everybody to know my experience with Signal, something you can use, and in considering to stay away from these so-called encryption apps, like what Facebook's WhatsApp Messenger claims, which really it doesn't really claim to protect your privacy in any way, which is really hypocritical. But even Facebook has to make a profit somehow, going through and mining your data. So moving on to the point with Signal, and this is one of the things I wanted to mention, which one of the best moves I will say with Signal, because when you sign up for a account, and the first things that you do is you go onto a place like Signal, you put your phone number, and from there you've created a Signal, your Signal account from here too. Now, I think one of the best moves they did is moved away from using phone numbers as user IDs. One thing I will say is respects and kudos to Signal doing that, because as everyone knows, if you look at messengers like Telegram, it is fine on its own, and I think one of the main issues I see with Telegram, and other privacy advocates are right there too, especially when you've actually had protesters using Telegram, it doesn't have the strong encryption that they have. Though one benefit I would say is that the group messengers on Telegram is what it makes it very beneficial, and it's easy to use. Unlike Signal, it doesn't have that feature where you can group message people, and I know Signal will have to start implementing groups. That's one thing that they are missing. So, not to take away from anyone else, now Signal right there does need to step up its game. Now, it's good that they are going to be, or I think they've have at this point, already went ahead and launched pins. In fact, yes, they have actually, what I've remembered so far, because in the zdnet.com, which in the article, I'm going to read it almost entirely right here, just to give you an idea what they've already done so far, which states here, Signal launches profile pins, the first step in supporting Signal user accounts that are not tied to phone numbers, which is excellent. For me, that's good. And I think that needs to change for the most part. And I find the pin option is going to be very secure. And one of my experiences with using the Signal pins is when you create a pin, you can create it short or long, however you want to put your pin. But it is a very secure way of doing things right now too. So if you don't want to be traced, then or what, not trace I would say, but just if you want to have a secure option, pins are going to be the way to go. It really is. And now the way it works is that when you enter your Signal for the first time, and it gives you like an administration lock, and you have to put it in like once every week, I believe. So that way, it's like a very secure thing. Like when you're opening up Signal for the first time, then you have to put on the pin that you've created, whether if it's numerical or alphanumerical, then you have to make sure that you type in that pin. Make sure that you have it written down and remember it as well. So one of the things everybody has to look into as well is make sure that you write down the pins that you've created, so that way you will not forget. So yeah. And so going on to the article, continuing on forward, which states, once enabled, users will ask to create a PIN code that will be associated with their account. The PIN can be anything from a 4-digit number to a long alphanumerical string. So just like I said, the PIN code will be used to encrypt profile information, account settings, and local contacts, and then upload a copy of the data on Signal's servers. When users lose a device or want to move to a new phone, the Signal PIN will allow them to easily migrate some of their profile data to a new device. Excellent. That's amazing. Signal devs also clarified that the new PIN mechanism doesn't cover Signal conversations, which won't be backed up on Signal's server, something the company has always said it won't do. Devs said that despite storing some user data on their servers, they cannot access and view any of this data without knowing the user's PIN. So that's pretty secure right there too. Looking at it this way right there too, I think that is a step of the right direction, and something people are going to have to look into, writing things down if you're going to secure yourself. I mean, I already have almost of everything written down already. I do encourage anybody, if you're looking to migrate or get out of the Facebook ecosystem, this is going to be it right there too. And I do encourage anybody open source stuff right there. In fact, I do, like I've said, encourage anybody looking for privacy. Signal is the one, and to me, where it all lies down to, I think it becomes a very slippery slope where you definitely have big governments and big corporations digging and mining your data and sharing it to everyone else, to the rest of third-party advertisers. And that right there does become a huge problem right there with everything going on nowadays. And also with another article I will post down below, which is freedom.press. And I will have that article where it says Signal, the secure messaging app, a guide for beginners, which is great. If you're a beginner, I will have that down on the description below. So if you are an iPhone user, it's available for iPhone users. Or if you are Android users, they have a guide already for Android users as well. So it gives you a step-by-step detail and how to use it, things like that too. And if you're on a mobile phone, you can just sign up, like I said, either iPhone and Android. And also, it's not just for text messaging, but you can use for voice conversations as well. Now, that is perfect, and I like voice conversations too, which I think you can reach out things better than you can with text message. Personally, that's just me. So you have these two good options, and also, if you're the kind of person that talks to people via the messenger a lot, and if you're just on the computer all the time, now they do have the messaging application via the desktop, and which is available for all users on Windows, Mac OS X, and Linux. So depends on all your Linux distribution. They do have it on Debian, Ubuntu. I think they have it on Ubuntu. But anyways, all the details are on the description right there too below, so go and check it out. Now, one of the main things I think Signal does miss out and is if only the desktop had voice features, so that way you don't have, for me, I don't have to just go and grab my phone a lot. And if the Signal on desktop had that feature, I could just pick up the phone calls, and that'll be actually great. So that way you don't have to just grab your phone a lot, and you just move your cursor and just pick up the calls from here too, using your USB mic, which is would be excellent, but they don't have that kind of feature. That's one of the things I would say that if only Signal had. And because as someone that I pretty much most of the time I'm a desktop user. I don't like to fiddle around with making phone calls on my phone a lot, and I'm pretty much right on my desktop, which is, for me, that's perfectly normal. I love that. I love that if there was a feature on it, but unfortunately they don't, and that's one of the few things I would say one of its drawbacks right there too. And second drawback, I'd say, I think lack of group messaging now, and I would say that if only the Signal app was a little bit easy to use, and even though yes they've said that they are going to be improving group messaging, I don't know. Some things haven't changed way too much, except they've had done some updates recently where they've already added like additional emojis, additional security features, which is a step up for sure. So this is excellent. And just giving you a bit of a rundown over at the freedom.press, which says here session verification. On most messengers, there is no way to know that your message is intercepted by a third party. With Signal, you can verify that the current conversation is secure for both messages and calls. Consider verifying your session for sensitive conversations. You can verify your session with safety numbers, open a conversation with someone for iPhone, click the person's name on top of the screen. On Android, click Settings, then navigate to Conversation Settings, and finally, verify safety numbers. From there, you can see a QR code and your safety numbers. I like that feature. That's one thing I really liked about the Signal, which has a verification. It gives you like a confirmation that you know that you're going to be into a call or into a text very safe right there. I think that's a good step up. Unlike WhatsApp, it's been a forever since I've used WhatsApp. For WhatsApp, there's no way you can find out how you're encrypted, how safe you are. So that to me, there, WhatsApp is pretty much dead in the water when it comes to encryption. Now they do technically they do have encryption, but the encryption is not as like military encrypted or anything like that. It's very low key, and also your conversations are going to be easily controlled via or can be easily looked into via the Facebook. And Facebook can find that out anyway. So that defeats the purpose of WhatsApp in all ways too. And I'm sure that many of your friends can end up staying with WhatsApp. But however, if any of you guys can convert them to Signal, I think Signal does, like I said, a better job than most if not most messengers out there, because they don't do such an excellent job too. Like, I mean, Telegram, I wish they've had that feature with encryption, because that would be important, having to talk to people via pretty much both ways, because that way at least you find out that you and the person that you're talking to know that your conversation isn't compromised, basically. So that's pretty much the way I just wanted to just bring it down for Signal. And anyone that's new to Signal will find that this is going to be a good start for encryption. Even I myself, before I've used Signal, there was chat messaging, like messengers like MIRC, which is still pretty good. I haven't used it in a very long time, and I think, to me, that's something I should come back and start using. MIRC, which does give you a sense of security. You can keep your conversation safe that way too, because for mobile phones, that's pretty hard for mobile phones to have that security, because that's something for mobile phones. It doesn't have like the strength, the high end encryption too, because all that your normal conversation through the telephone applications are not as secure that as everybody thinks, because all that is being recorded right behind closed doors. So that's why I continue using the app, like even 5 years plus later. And it's always good to have something right there too. Plus, food for thought right there. The person behind Signals, which actually was one of the former developers of WhatsApp, which is really interesting. Now, and then, however, after all that's been said, pretty much Facebook bought WhatsApp, and now it's being owned by Facebook now too. Now, one thing I would say, I think one of the things I would say is that I did use WhatsApp in the early years before Facebook purchased WhatsApp too. Now I don't anymore, which is good. I don't want to use any of their junkware garbage, which that's something that leads me to jump into something else. I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of what goes on behind closed doors with Facebook. I don't think, my honest opinion, not enough transparency. And now if you compare this to, let's just say, Signal has transparency and it does a really good job too. And just to end this right there too, I think, if I were to recommend to beginners, would I do it? The answer is yes. Use it. And I think it works great too. And I think my personal opinion, when I've used WhatsApp on the voice conversation with one of my friends, still has WhatsApp, and I remember I was talking to one of his international friends, and the voice calls on, God, WhatsApp is horrible. And sure, you may have the best router, but the router or the Wi-Fi isn't the problem. The problem is just the application. It's just horrible, and the voice cuts off. And that was one of the main issues that I've had with WhatsApp. And I just don't think Facebook is doing anything to improve the voice services whatsoever. And then one day, here comes Signals. And Signals does a better job, I think 4 times better with phone calls being secure, and also the conversation doesn't get cut off or doesn't break out once in a while too, like if you were doing on a regular phone call onto the phone app itself. So that does a better job. In my honest opinion, if you are a beginner trying to find something secure for the mobile, Signal will be a good first step to use, and only because that with everything that they're doing right now, having to move away from using a phone number as your user ID, which is phenomenally great. I would use Signal, and if you're trying to find something for the first time, this is it right there too. But with that being said too, I'm going to go ahead and put the podcast onto a close, since it has been a while. Now, moving forward right here, since I haven't been doing too many podcasts, hopefully I'll put myself into working on weekly podcasts and giving you more information, and try to be very, very consistent each week. And it's been very hard as far as this goes, because I know recently I've been doing some job searches, so that's something I will be putting out more news coming along the way. So be patient about that too. I will have more content coming to you in the near future. So that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick listen, and if you like what you've listened to on today's episode about Signal and my commentary on it, leave me a review over at Podchasers, or if you're on Apple, review ratings and review would be great. What do you think about what you've just heard today too, or anywhere else too, and whatever podcast service of your choice be excellent. And with that said, I'll let you guys go. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday, or wherever you are listening to me on. Thank you. Take care. Hit you on the next show. Bye-bye now.